The massive Cathari warship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system, its crystalline hull refracting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. Supreme Overlord Nexus stood on the command deck, his iridescent scales shifting colors as he studied the holographic display of the third planet. Behind him, the bridge crew worked in perfect synchronization, their cybernetic implants connecting them directly to the ship's systems. Preliminary scans complete, Overlord, announced First Sentinel Myra, her metallic voice echoing through the chamber. The dominant species appears to be in early space development, primitive fusion technology, chemical rockets, and basic orbital structures detected. Nexus's mandibles clicked in amusement. Another simple conquest for the glory of the Cathari Empire. How many worlds does this make now, First Sentinel? This will be the 473rd inhabited world under Cathari dominion, my lord. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. Marcus Thorne reviewed the alien vessel's energy signatures with growing concern. As Earth's director of advanced defense systems, he had spent the last 15 years preparing for this moment. The wall-sized quantum displays showed real-time analysis of the Cathari ship's capabilities, gathered by Earth's cloaked Sentinel satellites. "They're scanning our decoy installations," noted Colonel Jasmine Wung, her cybernetic eye glowing faintly as she processed the tactical data. "The old space stations, conventional military bases, primitive fusion plants." Marcus nodded, his dark skin illuminated by the blue glow of the displays. "Good, let them think we're decades behind them technologically. How are the quantum shield generators holding up?" "All 37 underground facilities are maintaining full stealth coverage," reported Dr. Raj Patel from his station. "The aliens haven't detected any of our advanced infrastructure. As far as they can tell, we're still burning fossil fuels and playing with chemical rockets." The truth was far different. Humanity had detected the Cathari Empire's approach 3 years ago when their long-range quantum sensors picked up the distinctive ripples of their faster-than-light travel. Since then, Earth's nations had done something unprecedented. They had united completely, pooling their resources and technology for survival. Centuries of warfare had taught humans to prepare for the worst, and the approaching aliens had provided a common enemy that dissolved old rivalries overnight. Hidden beneath the surface of every continent, massive facilities housed technology that would have seemed like magic even a decade ago. Director Thorne called out Lieutenant Kira Patel. "They're launching shuttle craft. Looks like they want to make first contact." Marcus straightened his uniform, touching the neural interface at the base of his skull. "Very well, time to give them the performance of our lives. Contact Ambassador Joe and tell him to prepare for the meeting. Remember, we need to appear primitive, divided, and easily conquered." The first contact ceremony was held in Beijing's Forbidden City, deliberately chosen to showcase what appeared to be Earth's most advanced diplomatic center. The Cathari delegation arrived in a sleek shuttle, its crystalline surface making it look more like an art piece than a warship. Ambassador David Joe stood at the forefront of Earth's delegation, wearing traditional diplomatic robes that concealed advanced sensor systems and quantum communicators. Around him, carefully selected officials fidgeted nervously, playing their roles perfectly. Supreme Overlord Nexus descended from the shuttle, towering nearly 4 meters tall. His crystalline exoskeleton caught the sunlight, creating rainbow patterns on the ancient stones. "I am Supreme Overlord Nexus of the Cathari Empire," he announced through a translation device. "Your world now falls under our protection and authority." Joe bowed deeply, suppressing a smile. "We are honored by your presence, Supreme Overlord. I am Ambassador Joe, representing the United Nations of Earth." His neural implant was already analyzing the aliens' biological weaknesses, transmitting data to defense centers worldwide. "Your cooperation will determine how smoothly your integration proceeds," Nexus continued, mandibles clicking in what passed for a smile among his species. "We bring order and advancement to primitive worlds. Your resources will serve the greater good of the Empire." "We have much to learn from the Cathari," Joe replied, maintaining perfect humility. "However, our people are diverse and many will fear what they do not understand. We request time to prepare them for these changes." Nexus seemed pleased by the apparent submission. "You shall have 6 months to prepare your people for full integration. After that, we will begin resource extraction and population management." As the meeting concluded, Nexus turned to First Sentinel Myra and spoke in his native language, unaware that every word was being recorded and analyzed by quantum computers hidden kilometers below the surface. "These humans are even weaker than we anticipated," he chittered. "They'll make excellent labor for the mining colonies." Later that night, in the Global Defense Command Center, Marcus reviewed the day's events with the World Security Council. The quantum hologram showed representatives from every major nation, their neural interfaces allowing instantaneous communication despite the distances involved. We have 6 months before they begin full occupation, he explained, bringing up tactical displays. They've positioned 7 major ships around Earth with their command vessel in geosynchronous orbit over the Pacific. And they believe we're submitting, asked Director Yuki Tanaka of the Pan-Asian Alliance. Completely, Marcus confirmed. Their arrogance is our advantage. Project Phoenix is ahead of schedule. Our quantum weaponry is ready for deployment and the adaptive AI systems are fully operational. General Santos of the United Americas stood, his hologram flickering slightly. The underground cities can shelter 90% of Earth's population when the fighting starts. The rest will be safe in hardened bunkers. Marcus nodded grimly. For the next 3 months, we maintain the charade. Let them think we're scrambling to meet their demands while fighting among ourselves. Meanwhile, we finish deploying our defensive systems and prepare for the single largest coordinated military action in human history. As the meeting concluded, Marcus stood alone in the command center, watching the alien ships orbit overhead. Soon, the Cathari Empire would learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity. They weren't the first species to look down on Earth, but if everything went according to plan, they would be the last. 2 months into the occupation preparations, Supreme Overlord Nexus invited Ambassador Joe aboard the Cathari flagship for a tour of what would soon become Earth's administrative center. The massive crystalline vessel hung in geosynchronous orbit, its hull pulsing with internal energy that the Cathari thought far beyond human comprehension. Joe arrived in a simple shuttle, accompanied by his administrative staff, actually elite quantum-enhanced special forces operators. Their seemingly primitive environmental suits contained advanced scanning technology that mapped every centimeter of the alien vessel. Your people's acceptance of their new role is commendable, Nexus observed as they walked through the ship's central corridor. We rarely encounter such compliance. We recognize the futility of resistance, Joe replied carefully, his neural implant recording everything, though some regions still struggle with the concept of integration. First Sentinel Myra followed behind them, her cybernetic enhancements glowing softly. Our preliminary survey teams report minimal opposition to the construction of processing centers, most unusual for a species at your development level. In the depths of the Global Defense Command, Director Marcus Thorne watched the tour through Joe's quantum-linked feed. Dr. Raj Patel worked beside him, analyzing the incoming data streams. Their power systems are exactly what we predicted, Raj noted, his fingers dancing over holographic displays. Quantum crystalline matrices, but they're using a linear configuration, inefficient. They never needed to innovate further, Marcus replied. No one's challenged them in centuries. He turned to Colonel Wang. Status of Project Prometheus. Jasmine's cybernetic eye flickered as she accessed the secure network. The quantum virus is ready. Once deployed, it will rewrite their entire command and control system. Their weapons will target their own ships before they realize what's happening. On the Cathari flagship, Joe was shown their Integration Processing Center, a massive facility designed to categorize and assign humans to various labor roles throughout the Empire. The ambassador maintained his mask of submissive interest while his suit sensors mapped the facility's vulnerabilities. Your species will serve many vital functions, Nexus explained, mandibles clicking in satisfaction. Your physical adaptability and relatively short breeding cycle make you ideal for mining operations on high-gravity worlds. We are honored to contribute to the Empire's greatness, Joe replied, suppressing his anger at the casual way Nexus discussed humanity's enslavement. In orbit around Mars, hidden beneath quantum stealth fields that bent light and energy around them, Earth's true fleet waited. 50 warships, each carrying weapons that combined humanity's most advanced technologies with reverse-engineered Cathari systems. Admiral James Chen stood on the bridge of the EDS Humanity's Hope, watching tactical displays track the alien vessels. All ships report ready, his XO, Commander Diana Jackson, reported. Quantum drives are charged and weapon systems are hot. Time for Phase 2, Chen ordered. Begin Operation Trojan Horse. Across Earth's surface, seemingly primitive defense installations began powering up. The Cathari detected the energy signatures immediately, exactly as planned. Their sensors registered only basic fusion reactors and particle weapons, technology they considered laughably obsolete. Supreme Overlord, Myra reported on the flagship, the humans appear to be activating defensive systems. Primitive weaponry no threat to our vessels. Nexus's scales shifted to a deep purple of amusement. Let them play at resistance. It will make their submission more complete when they realize the futility of their actions. In the Rocky Mountain facility, Marcus watched the Cathari reactions with grim satisfaction. They're taking the bait. Launch the drones. Thousands of small, seemingly crude drones lifted off from bases worldwide. Their erratic flight patterns and obvious energy signatures drew the Cathari's attention exactly as intended. The aliens easily shot down hundreds of them, their superior weapons swatting the drones from the sky. Such a waste of resources, Nexus commented to Joe. Surely you must see how outmatched you are. Perhaps, Joe replied carefully, but human nature compels us to try, however futile it may seem. What the Cathari didn't realize was that every destroyed drone released clouds of quantum-engineered nanites into the upper atmosphere. Invisible to their sensors, the nanites began interfacing with their ship's crystalline hulls, preparing for the coming assault. In orbit around Jupiter's moon Europa, cloaked beneath kilometers of ice, Earth's secret weapon waited. The quantum AI core that humanity had developed over decades of hidden research spun up to full power, its consciousness extending through networks of entangled particles. Dr. Victoria Nash, Earth's leading AI researcher, monitored the system's status. Quantum Intelligence Alpha is online, she reported to Marcus. The nanite network is achieving optimal coverage. We'll have full access to their systems in 6 hours. On the Cathari flagship, Joe was completing his tour. Your generosity in showing us your magnificent vessel is appreciated, Supreme Overlord. May I ask one final question? Of course, Nexus replied indulgently. What would you like to know? In your long history of conquest, has any species ever truly surprised you? Nexus's mandibles clicked in amusement. Not in centuries, though I suppose there's always a first time. Joe smiled diplomatically. Indeed there is. His neural implant sent a single quantum-encrypted signal to the command center. Chess pieces are in position. Time to checkmate. Marcus received the signal and turned to his staff. Begin final countdown. Notify all commands. Operation Prometheus begins in 6 hours. Let's show the Cathari Empire why they should have looked more closely at human history. We don't take well to invasion threats. As Joe's shuttle departed the flagship, Nexus watched it return to Earth, completely unaware that humanity's greatest deception was about to unravel. The empire that had conquered hundreds of worlds was about to learn why humans had survived countless extinction-level events on their hostile homeworld. They weren't just survivors, they were warriors who had turned their planet's very hostility into strength. The quantum countdown reached 0 at precisely midnight UTC. In that instant, humanity shed its mask of primitive submission and revealed the full extent of its power. Deep beneath Europa's icy surface, Dr. Victoria Nash initiated the quantum AI core's primary sequence. Quantum Intelligence Alpha, Execute Protocol Prometheus. The AI's response rippled through quantum-entangled networks, instantly reaching every nanite that had infiltrated the Cathari ships. Within microseconds, the crystalline matrices of their vessels began to transform at the molecular level. On the Cathari flagship, Supreme Overlord Nexus was awakened by screaming alarms. Report, he demanded, rushing to the command center. First, Sentinel Myra's cybernetic interfaces sparked as she tried to access ship systems. My lord, we're losing control. Our quantum matrices are being rewritten by technology that shouldn't exist. Across Earth's surface, massive hidden doors slid open in mountains, deserts, and ocean floors. Advanced warships, their hulls gleaming with quantum-enhanced alloys, rose into the night sky. Each vessel carried weapons that combined reverse-engineered Cathari technology with humanity's own innovations. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of humanity's hope, watching tactical displays as Earth's true fleet decloaked around Mars. All ships, this is Fleet Command. Execute Operation Prometheus. Show these invaders why humanity survived every challenge our world threw at us. The first shot of the war wasn't fired from a conventional weapon. Instead, Earth's quantum AI unleashed a digital assault that turned the Cathari's own technology against them. Their ship's crystalline matrices, infiltrated by nanites, began transforming from weapons of war into prisons for their crews. Supreme Overlord, Myra reported, panic evident in her usually controlled voice, were detecting massive energy signatures rising from the planet's surface. Their technology, it's far beyond what our scans showed. Nexus watched in horror as his mighty fleet began to turn against itself. Weapon systems targeted sister ships, shields failed, and communication channels dissolved into chaos. Impossible, they're primitives, how could they hide this level of advancement? In the Rocky Mountain Command Center, Director Marcus Thorne allowed himself a grim smile. Send the transmission, let them understand exactly who they tried to conquer. On every Cathari vessel, view screens came to life with Ambassador Joe's face. But gone was the submissive diplomat. In his place stood a steel-eyed military commander. Supreme Overlord Nexus, Joe's voice rang through the compromised ships, you thought you found a primitive species ready for conquest. Instead, you discovered humanity's first line of defense, deception. While you saw what you expected to see, we studied your every weakness. Your empire's arrogance blinded you to a simple truth. Any species that survives on a death world like Earth doesn't do so by being weak. Earth's fleet moved with precision that shocked the Cathari commanders. Quantum-driven engines allowed the ships to appear and disappear at will, striking from impossible angles. Advanced AI systems predicted and countered every standard Cathari battle tactic before they could be implemented. Director Colonel Wang reported, Quantum Intelligence Alpha has complete control of their command and control networks. 70% of their fleet is neutralized. No casualties on either side. News of Earth's victory spread through the galaxy at quantum speed. On hundreds of subjugated worlds, beings of all species gathered around communication terminals, watching in stunned silence as recordings of the battle circulated despite Cathari attempts at censorship. On Proxima Station, the massive trading hub at the edge of former Cathari space, Director Marcus Thorne stood before the hastily assembled Galactic Coalition Conference. Representatives from 30 former Cathari slave worlds sat in the chamber, their expressions ranging from hope to suspicion. Humanity does not seek to replace one empire with another, Marcus declared, his words translated into 24 languages simultaneously. We propose a coalition of free worlds, bound by mutual defense and trade agreements. In the station's quantum-secured command center, Admiral Chen monitored the growing crisis throughout Cathari space. Reports flooded in of slave revolts, planetary uprisings, and mass defections from the Cathari military. Another battle group has surrendered, Commander Jackson reported. The Centaurian resistance is requesting immediate support. They've seized control of 3 major shipyards. Deploy Task Force Liberty, Chen ordered. Remind our forces we protect civilian populations regardless of species. This isn't about revenge. On the former Cathari throne world of Crystallos, Supreme Overlord Nexus faced his own council in chains. The massive crystal chamber, once a symbol of their absolute power, now held representatives from Earth's diplomatic corps and liberation forces. You had centuries to learn, Nexus spoke bitterly to Ambassador Joe. How did you advance so quickly? What is your secret? Joe studied the fallen emperor thoughtfully. Perhaps that was your greatest mistake, believing there was a secret. Humanity's strength isn't in any single technology or weapon. It's in our diversity, our adaptability, our drive to question everything, even our own assumptions. Dr. Victoria Nash's hologram appeared in the chamber, her quantum AI interfaces glowing softly. Your empire standardized everything, thought, technology, culture. You saw uniformity as strength. We embrace chaos, contradiction, and challenge. Every problem humans faced became an opportunity for innovation. In Earth's orbital shipyards, now visible to the galaxy, new vessels were under construction. But these weren't warships. The massive craft were designed for deep space exploration, carrying quantum drives that could pierce the barriers between galaxies themselves. The Andromeda Initiative is proceeding on schedule, Dr. Raj Patel reported to the Global Science Council. The quantum mapping arrays have identified 16 potentially habitable galaxy clusters within reach. But not all reactions to Earth's emergence were positive. In the shadows of distant worlds, other empires watched with growing concern. The Nexar Dominion, nearly twice the size of the former Cathari Empire, began mobilizing its fleets. Colonel Wang's quantum intelligence networks detected the movements. Director, we're tracking significant military activity along the Nexar border. They're not happy about the power shift. Marcus nodded grimly. They won't be the last. Victory was the easy part, maintaining peace while protecting freedom will be our real challenge. On Europa, Dr. Nash worked with Quantum Intelligence Alpha to analyze data from across the known galaxy. We're detecting quantum signature patterns we've never seen before, she reported. There are civilizations out there far older than the Cathari, watching us, evaluating our actions. In the depths of former Cathari space, ancient ruins began to pulse with new energy. Structures that had been dormant for millennia reacted to the quantum frequencies of Earth's technologies. Something long sleeping was beginning to stir. Ambassador Joe stood in the ruins of an ancient quantum observatory on a world older than the Cathari civilization itself. We're not just dealing with current politics, he told Marcus through their quantum link. These ruins, they're similar to structures we've found on Mars and Europa. Someone seeded this galaxy with technology long ago, and our quantum innovations are waking up their old systems. On Earth, in the restored United Nations chamber in Geneva, humanity's leaders gathered to discuss their species' new role in the galaxy. The holographic displays showed thousands of worlds, millions of species, and countless challenges ahead. "We've inherited an empire's worth of problems," Marcus addressed the assembly. "Refugee crises on a galactic scale, economic systems in collapse, centuries of technological suppression to overcome, and somewhere out there ancient forces are stirring." Admiral Chen's hologram appeared before the assembly. "The Nexar Dominion has issued an ultimatum. They're demanding we see support for liberation movements within former Cathari space. They're calling our quantum technology an unnatural abomination that violates their religious principles. They fear us," Colonel Wung observed, "not for our weapons but for our ideas. Freedom is more dangerous to empires than any quantum cannon." In orbit above Earth, aboard humanity's Hope, Admiral Chen watched the sun rise over his homeworld. Humanity had emerged onto the galactic stage in a way no one had expected, not as conquerors or victims, but as liberators. Yet with each passing day, the true complexity of their situation became clearer. "Send word to the fleet," he ordered. "All ships on alert status. I want quantum sensors at maximum range and AI prediction models running constantly. We've kicked over an empire and the galaxy's other powers won't just sit and watch. The real war, the war for the future of every sentient being, is just beginning." As Earth ships spread throughout known space, carrying hope and change to countless worlds, the ancient quantum structures continued to pulse with increasing strength. Humanity had proved itself against one empire, but greater challenges lurked in the vast darkness between the stars. The question wasn't whether they would face these challenges, but whether their unique blend of innovation, adaptability, and determination would be enough to overcome them. The ancient quantum observatory on Kepler 186f pulsed with blinding light, its crystalline spires reaching toward the alien sky. Dr. Victoria Nash stood before a holographic interface that hadn't been activated in 50,000 years, her quantum AI implants interfacing with technology that predated human civilization. "The precursors," she breathed, watching as star maps materialized around her. "They weren't just another ancient empire, they were the first to unlock quantum reality itself." In orbit above the planet, humanity's Hope maintained its protective watch. Admiral Chen studied the readings from the surface with growing concern. "These quantum signatures are appearing everywhere now. Every world we liberated from the Cathari has at least one of these structures." The quantum AI core embedded in Europa had detected a pattern. The ancient structures weren't random. They formed a vast network across the galaxy, lying dormant until humanity's unique approach to quantum technology had awakened them. On the edge of known space, the Nexar Dominion's fleet assembled. 10,000 ships, each powered by what they called pure energy, a religious rejection of quantum mechanics itself. Their High Executor Vinra addressed his forces. "The humans corrupt reality itself with their quantum abominations," his words echoed across the fleet. "We will cleanse the galaxy of their infection, restore the natural order, and free the enslaved souls they have trapped in their machines." Director Marcus Thorne received the quantum-encrypted warning from deep cover operatives. In the Rocky Mountain Command Center, he consulted with Earth's unified leadership. "The Nexar aren't just another empire," he explained, displaying tactical projections. "They're zealots who believe quantum manipulation is blasphemy, and they've united with remnants of the Cathari fleet." Dr. Raj Patel burst into the command center, his usually calm demeanor shattered by excitement. "The precursor sites, we've decrypted their primary directive. They weren't building weapons or gathering resources. They were creating a quantum neural network spanning the entire galaxy." In the Europa facility, Dr. Nash worked frantically with Quantum Intelligence Alpha to process the new information. "The precursors didn't die out or disappear," she reported. "They evolved, transformed their entire civilization into a quantum state, waiting for another species to reach the right level of development." Ambassador Zhou, speaking from the Proxima Coalition headquarters, understood the implications immediately. They seeded the galaxy with their technology, waiting for a species that would discover quantum science naturally, not through conquest or theft. "That's why the Cathari never activated the sites," Colonel Wung added. "They stole their quantum technology from conquered races, never developing the true understanding needed to interface with precursor systems." The Nexar fleet launched its first attack at dawn, Earth Standard Time. Their weapons were devastating but predictable raw energy wielded with religious fervor but lacking the finesse of quantum manipulation. Admiral Chen's response demonstrated why humanity had risen so quickly. The Earth fleet didn't just fight back, they innovated mid-battle. Quantum AI systems analyzed enemy patterns, adapted strategies, and executed maneuvers that seemed to bend reality itself. All ships implement protocol synthesis, Chen ordered. Let's show them why understanding quantum mechanics matters more than raw power. Earth vessels phased through enemy fire, their quantum fields redirecting energy attacks back at the Nexar fleet. Where the Cathari had been defeated through subterfuge and preparation, the Nexar faced the full creativity of human combat doctrine. But the real change came from deep beneath Europa's ice. Quantum Intelligence Alpha, interfacing with the awakening precursor network, made a discovery that would reshape galactic civilization. The network isn't just for communication, Dr. Nash reported, her voice filled with awe. It's an archive of all precursor knowledge, and it's offering to share it not just with humans, but with all species ready to embrace quantum understanding. In the heart of the Nexar fleet, doubt spread like a virus. Their weapons, powered by pure energy, seemed crude compared to the elegant quantum manipulation displayed by Earth's forces. More importantly, the precursor network was reaching out, offering understanding rather than destruction. Director Marcus made the decision that would define humanity's role in the galaxy. Broadcast on all frequencies, all languages, we offer the Nexar and all other species access to the precursor archives. Knowledge freely given, not hoarded or weaponized. The response came not in words but in actions. Across the Nexar fleet, weapons powered down, ships broke formation, their crews choosing understanding over dogma. The Great Crusade against quantum blasphemy ended not with a battle but with an epiphany. 1 year later, the Galactic Coalition headquartered on Proxima Station had grown to include over 500 member worlds. The precursor network, fully awakened, served as both a repository of knowledge and a means of instant communication across vast distances. In the Quantum Observatory where it all began, Dr. Nash made one final discovery. The precursors left us more than knowledge, she announced to the assembled Coalition Council. They left us a choice. We can remain as we are, using their network to grow and learn, or, Ambassador Joe prompted, or we can join them, evolve our consciousness into quantum state, become part of something vast and eternal, but they're not pushing us toward that choice. They want us to find our own path, make our own decisions. Admiral Chen, his fleet now protecting peaceful exploration rather than defending against invasion, smiled. Then we'll do what humans have always done. We'll study, learn, debate, and forge our own destiny, and we'll help anyone who wants to join us on that journey. The ancient quantum structures pulsed with approving light, their creator's legacy finally fulfilled. Humanity had proven itself not just through victory in war, but through the wisdom to turn victory into opportunity for all. As Earth ships ventured deeper into the galaxy, carrying scientists and diplomats rather than soldiers, they carried a simple message. The future belonged not to those who conquered, but to those who dared to understand. The age of empires was over. The age of quantum enlightenment had begun.